It was probably an ugly football game right there, but in the end, what matters is we had found a way to win it. And it's a huge win for us going into this bye week. Just sets kind of a mindset and a tone about, it's better to be 3-2 right now, have some opportunities to be off and get some guys healed. Cam Johnson didn't play today because of a lower leg injury. It was just one of those things that that next guy, next man up mentality had to play. So, I'm proud of the effort. I thought the defense played extremely well and just did a great job keeping us in the game, even though in the first half, I believe, was 3 turnovers. It's just, but I appreciate the resilience of the entire team to just to hang in there and just keep swinging.
What happened at the end of the first half?
Yeah, it was 6 seconds left on the clock, and we're going to take a shot in the end zone, and if the guy wasn't open, wanted Michael to throw it out of the end zone, and have at least a second on the clock to kick a field goal, and I guess everyone saw the scramble opportunity occurred, and instead of going down, I guess he thought he might have had an opportunity to get into the end zone. It was a mistake, that cost us 3 points at the end of the half. There, it's a learning, it's a learning issue with him, and we just gotta make sure in those situations when you're trying to get points and the time that you have on the clock that you're fully alert and aware of those.
Like Dominic Terrell seemed to really have been struggling just to get anything going. What do you think that final play could do for him?
Well, hopefully for him, like some of these other guys that are playing, that you're playing in college football games now, and the fact that we're trying to come up with plays to utilize guys' abilities, and that's a glimpse of what he can do, and others, other guys, Clifton Richardson, other guys, Anthony Harris that go in the game, and Trey Nicholson is playing as a glimpse of what they can do. We just got to keep trying to put them in those situations so they can be successful. And it was a great play by Nicky staying on his feet and getting into the end zone.
From your vantage point, can you walk us through what happened on the block punt return for a touchdown play?
I believe that without seeing the film, it might have been just kind of a timing issue. Hey, ball snap, catch the ball and get it off. So I don't know if I don't think the snap was bad. Didn't look like it. I don't know if the shield or the wall that's up front, if there was any leakage in that, or I don't know if Jimmy took too much time hanging on to it and trying to kick it. So regardless of whatever happened, it got blocked, and it's not supposed to get blocked. We got to do a better job because that was a big time play right there, big momentum change. And so, we got to look at a lot of special teams issues to make sure we shore up what we're doing because, those possessions and opportunities to flip the field are critical. And so we'll look at it and make the necessary corrections and adjustments.
They get the touchdown in overtime, but before that, the defense had given up 2 field goals total. How impressive was that?
I tell you, it was to watch them play and fly around. Was kind of a redemption type of deal because everyone was worried about what about the defense giving up this and giving up that. They played well versus the run. They kept what matters is keeping the score, keeping the points off, and the guys out there had a lot of confidence in the game plan, and they just executed it. So that's what we got to be. That's what we can be, but we have to continue being that in order for this team to continue, to have a chance to continue winning games. So, as I said, I thought it was a great effort by them.
Mike, you changed quarterbacks 4 times after halftime. Going forward, can you continue to do that?
I don't know, Doug. Like I said, we're trying to find a rhythm with like I said, with David and with Michael. And, there's some good things and there were some bad things. And, it's just one of those things that going into, take a long look at this game, with the open week that's coming up to solidify, whether it's positions or the type of plays that we have to run or the type of plays we got to get rid of or the type of defenses that we need. So there's going to be kind of a look at everything we do and who's doing it. I mean, it's got to be when you have an open week.
Coach, you mentioned the importance of the bye week to heal up as a team. Can you talk a little bit about the status of Kevin Parks for this game, and then also what you thought of Clifton Richardson and the backup role?
Kevin, as much as he wanted to go, just wasn't effective. And when you're a running back, a skill guy, you need your wheels, as we talk about. And he's a go-getter, but just couldn't do what he needed to do in order to help us win. So next guy up becomes Clifton Richardson. Has to carry the ball, made some really good runs. There was a point that he was averaging 7 yards a carry, and then put the ball down on the ground. Even Perry put the ball down on the ground, which is uncharacteristic of him. But Clifton's role has stepped up because his knowledge of the offense has increased also. I mean, a lot of these guys are learning as we go along. But he'll play more because he shows that he can be a back that's a load to bring down, and he can run in the open space there. So very proud of his effort. And so we again now with the bye week, as you said, now with these high ankle sprains and hamstrings and things like that. I mean, that takes time, and hopefully this is the right time, for these guys to get back on the mend so we can be back at 100%, going down the second half of the season.
Rocco played the first 3 series of the second half, and then I think with the exception of one other series, you went predominantly with Watt for the rest of the game. What led to the switch at the time that you did?
We had the series that they were going to play, but then, as I said before when Doug asked, we just wanted to see who could get into the groove of playing, who could make the calls and make the throws. And it seemed like Michael maybe struggled a little bit with some balls, and so we put David in. And as I said before, we put David in, and we signal our plays in. He calls a wrong play on the reverse that Darius Jennings got tackled. So wanted to get him on the sideline and settle him down and let him watch the game a little bit. So it was going back and forth a little bit to try to see who could get us into a groove. And then towards the latter part, just decided that we're just going to go with David at that point.
Coach, were you surprised that Idaho went for 2 there in overtime? And what did you tell your team as they were going out on the field to defend that 2-point conversion?
Not particularly. I know Coach Akey, they did that once before in a bowl game, and they went for 2 and they won. You're away. I think his defense was getting a little tired, and you're down there, and you win, and if you get it, then you win. If not, then at least again you try to prove to your team that we're on the road. We're going to try to win on the road here. So he made the call, and we just we made a great defensive play to win the game.
What was the face mask penalty down there in the overtime?
Yeah, that was called on a tight end that I was told that he grabbed his face mask and yanked it down to the ground. And at that situation, we don't teach our guys to do anything like that, particularly as critical as that. So you have to wait and see with the film, how that looks on film, and maybe as he was blocking, maybe sometimes your hands get up there, but they shouldn't, because your hands should be inside the framework of his body. So we'll have to wait till we see the film, Doug, and then make the appropriate appeals or do what we normally do when there's calls that we disagree with.
Your offensive strategy in overtime, was that a package of stuff that you like or something that you designed for an overtime period? And did you think the Terrell play had a good chance to break it for a score, or was you just hoping to get something out of it?
The strategy of that down there was basically kind of the core group of plays that we use, and Clifton had a really good run in one of those, and that bubble screen or the screen to Dominique, we call him Nicky, was something that we knew that was there, but they did so much press man, with the corner that was up. Sometimes you get the opportunity to do that, so. It was a good call at the appropriate time, and the blocks that were made, to free him up. So, it was not necessarily, Jerry, an overtime type of menu, but it's like a core group of plays that are positive for us. And then we wanted to try to get somebody in space, and it was a good call for that particular coverage that they were in, and Nicky was able to score.
Mike, Perry had one of the blocks on the touchdown, I guess the outside block. He also rushed for 110 and had a bunch of yards receiving. Did you feel like, he would have to do more today with Kevin out, and just your thoughts on his play?
Well, I know Perry, if you were asking him how he played, and he probably said, I played all right, I fumbled, but despite, just the all-purpose yards and what he means to the team, I think that he's cognizant of the fact that, when a back like Kevin Parks is down, that, his production, is going to have to step up a little bit. But then again, we had Khalid Shepard and, like I said, Clifton Richardson, who, I don't know how many carries he had, but played a lot. And so, as you're moving forward, you got all these guys you're trying to get in the game and get them touches, things like that. But you're trying to develop them at the same time. So, in the end, Perry's a team player, and then whatever he needs to do, he'll relish the role to get it done.
Mike, assess your club at this point and where you think you are going into the bye week.
I tell you, we're a team that is trying to learn how to win games and trying to eliminate those momentum changes sometimes that happens. Whether you're at home or on the road, things happen in the game. Other teams are allowed to play hard. They're allowed to make plays and be able to bounce back from those things that happen. You learn how to play the game by executing. And there were a couple things out there that, weren't executed properly, but that's why you practice. So I think it's always good that you learn something with an ugly win or tough win, or however you want to characterize it, because, it becomes kind of a motivating tool that, when you come in the locker room after a hard-fought game like that and there were some miscues that caused you to lose, then your whole attitude and everything goes south. But if you come in the locker room after, the turnovers and the things that happen, and understanding that, what you have to do to win, then your mindset and the psychology of it, points you in the other direction there. So that's what we're doing. That's what we have to do. And as I said, I think the bye week came at a perfect time for us.